Are you an adventurer looking to take your hunt to the next level? Then you're in the right place. Welcome to East Meets West Hunt with your host, Bo Martonic.
Hey everyone, what's going on? Happy Monday. Welcome back to another episode of the East Meets West Hunt podcast. So for those of you that are new, thanks for joining us. And if you've been listening for a while, thanks for the continued support here. Coming into April here, getting ready for turkey season and spring scouting's at full speed right now. So a lot of good things going on right now. This past week has been extremely good for finding sheds on my side of things. I'm not usually the best when it comes to finding antlers in the woods, and it's not because I'm in the wrong spots. It's because I can't see them, or I'm distracted by a thousand other things. But went out with my dad, and as anyone that knows him, he's very good at finding sheds. So I took him along for good luck, and he of course picked up the biggest ones. But we found a bunch of sheds one day after work, and then I went back in there the next day and actually did some grid searching, meaning I'm going back and forth through an area that had a lot of like winter feeding sign, and I ended up picking up another 4 sheds. So it was a good afternoon there doing that, and then it kind of switched gears back to just scouting. So scouting ridges, scouting points, and some of the steeper country that I've been looking into here in Pennsylvania. And yeah, I've been putting a ton of miles on the boots, just trying to find some hot spots for the fall. And this year's a little bit different I have some people coming in to hunt with me. So now it's not just me focusing on trying to find, a deer or some locations for me to hunt. I'm trying to, put some other people in good spots. So I have Chris Derrick, if you've heard his name, he's been on this podcast before, from Sitka, as well as a few other people that are going to be coming in. We're going to be doing some product testing and a whole bunch of things, but staying a week here in northern Pennsylvania to hunt during the rut. So should be a pretty awesome trip. But yeah, so my scouting has really ramped up to try to, get ready for that trip, make sure that those guys have an enjoyable experience, here in Pennsylvania. So that has been good. A lot of scouting there. Been finding some turkeys with the opener in Pennsylvania coming up at the end of April. Actually, if anyone checks out my Instagram stories, I called in 2 gobblers with my mouth. It would have been yesterday morning. So on Saturday here, I was out and 10 o'clock in the morning out on this point and heard one gobble on the opposite ridge across the river. And I just mouth gobbled out. Worst sounding call you could ever imagine, but I did it, and then just made some other hen noises with my mouth. Again, sounded like complete trash, but they flew across the river and climbed 600 feet of elevation up to me. I called them into 30 yards with my mouth, and I don't know how that worked, and I'm sure that will not work when the season comes, because they made it seem, easy. I mean, turkeys can sometimes be the dumbest birds in the world, and other times they can be the smartest birds. Depends on, I guess, the day and temperament. But anyways, that was a pretty cool experience there. But logged just over 10 miles yesterday. No antlers, but found some, again, really, really good sign that should be good here for the upcoming fall. Left a trail camera up on a scrape and a bedding point. So I just put some lithium batteries in, set it up high, and gonna let it soak all year. Hopefully, it lasts that whole time frame there. So that's good. But yeah, that's what's going on from the scouting standpoint. Been, like I said, putting on a ton of miles there, and going forward with that. So also update. So as I talked about a little bit last time, had some issues with the mountain buck shirts, coming in, but those are good to go. They should be arriving by next week, maybe even earlier than this week, but looking like next week, and everything should be good to go. Ship them out right away, get them to everyone, and then so I'll have some in stock as well as the pre-orders going out. And at the same time, I got some more stealth hats. The new stealth multicam hats sold out in a week. They're an awesome hat, but you can order them out on the website. Still have them available there, but they just won't ship until most likely next week. And also, a couple other hat items that were out of stock. Everything should be updated and ready to go by the beginning of next week. So some good things going on there. And anything else from the business side of things and East Meets West, just also with the whitetail scouting being ramped up, scouting for elk, trying to figure out if I don't draw New Mexico here, what my backup plan is for Idaho, and got it narrowed down pretty good here and actually starting to look at some spots. So try not to get too far ahead of myself and doing scouting for, no reason if I do draw New Mexico, but nonetheless, I've been getting really excited for that and see what's to come for the fall. All right, so let's get into the partners here. So the University of Elk Hunting, Corey Jacobson and Elk 101 have put together a complete course. It's a 1-year membership that you can go through and learn everything elk hunting from beginning to end, no matter what your experience level is. From the planning phases of the hunt, as I had Corey on the podcast, a few weeks ago here, and all the way up through calling, fitness, gear, everything else, getting your meat out, taking it home, all that stuff. Corey really goes through this course and doesn't leave out any details. So if you want to check that out, which first I want to thank everyone that has checked it out already. I've gotten some tremendous feedback from it. And for those who purchased it and using this code I'm about to give you here, East Meets West will get you $20 off. So just enter that in the promo code spot, East Meets West, and you'll get $20 off that course, in which this will be my 4th year going on the course. So also Heather's Choice. So Heather has created meals for adventuring, hunting, hiking, traveling, anything else that are dehydrated meals that are good for you. They're not filled with a bunch of sugars and salt and everything else. They have high protein, high fat, really fuel you. And at the end of the day, I can promise after, hiking 10, 12 miles in the backcountry, your legs will thank you when you provide it with the recovery food that it needs. So check out Heather's Choice, and if you have an order over $99, you can get free shipping on that by using code East Meets West. And if not, still use the link in our website to order. That really helps us out and shows some support. And lastly, Maven Optics. Maven has put together a business model that has been able to put out the highest quality optics, with competitors like Swarovski, Leica, and Zeiss, but at half the price of those competitors through their direct-to-consumer model. And so the only place you can buy Mavens is, on their website, or if you see them at shows, which I will have Mavens for sale and able to demo out at the Total Archery Challenge this year in Seven Springs, Pennsylvania at my booth. So definitely, come check them out and see it. And if you're interested in buying some optics, any full price optics on their website, if you use code East Meets West -gift, you'll get a free gift with that, which changes every month. So check that out. All right, guys. Well, this podcast that I have coming up here is with Ryan Silver. So Ryan was on one of the first episodes recorded back at the Total Archery Challenge last year. Well, he came back to talk to me this year at ATA. And Ryan works for G5 and Prime Archery, so in their marketing department there. Ryan is an awesome guy, straight shooter. There's nothing that's going to be left unsaid with Ryan if it comes to his mind, and that's what I really like about him. Great guy from that side of things. So this episode, we start, talking about G5 products, Prime, Quest, the whole new 2019 line as far as and some existing stuff. But more than that, we dive into a whole nother topic that Ryan's extremely passionate about, and I am as well, as you'll hear in our voices. But as far as being one as a group and as hunters, alike. So I'm not going to go any more detail on that. Just listen to it and give me some feedback on it. I mean, like I said, we get pretty fired up in the episode, and that's good. That's what I like to hear, that passion in people's voice. That they really mean it, means a lot to them. So that's great. On the prime side of things, I did just get in the Logic CT3 for myself. So I shot the Logic all last year. Love that bow. Really didn't want to switch, but the CT3, when I shot it at ATA, a little bit longer axle to axle, just felt a little more comfortable for me. It's not like super long, 33 inches, kind of fits that sweet spot. I've actually never shot a bow that long before, besides older ones, back when I was in my teens, but everything else has been shorter. So I'm excited to give this a shot, and in the process of getting this set up here currently, just waiting on a rest to come in. I was going to throw one of my QADs on, and actually did throw it on, and ended up deciding to give a limb-driven rest a shot. So I'm throwing a Hamsky Pro Hunter on, and heard some really good things about it. My buddy Clint Casper, who's on the podcast here recently, he's using those Hamskys, has really good feedback. My uncle just threw it on his bow, said awesome things about it. I've used really nothing but QAD my whole life, besides when I had the old Whisker Biscuit on. But I'm excited to try this limb-driven rest out and see how that works. But so throwing on, just to kind of go through some of the stuff I do have on my bow there for this year. Going to throw a Spot Hog Fast Eddy XL. So it's the one with the dovetail, double pin. Love that sight. I leave the top pin set at 25 yards, and the second one comes out around 37, 38, depending on the speed of my bow. And that covers just about everything in the whitetail woods. And actually, I dial that a little bit different for out west. I throw the top pin on 30 yards, and the second one comes out to around like 42, I believe. And that covers, a giant range, so you don't have to try to hit that dial. Because as everyone knows, if you're in the dark timber in the west, or if you're in the big woods here in Pennsylvania or anywhere else in the Northeast, you don't have time to adjust the slider to the correct yardage as if they were out in a food plot or anything else. So that's a couple of the things I'm running there with the Hamsky, and running a tight spot quiver again on the bow. So love those quivers. I can shoot with them on, keep the arrows as tight as I need to without falling out. But yeah, I'll definitely get some pictures posted up and stuff once I get this bow built. Building it here in my basement, so we'll see how that whole process goes. But all right, let's get into this one here. So Ryan Silver, G5 Prime, back at the ATA show in Louisville. Check it out. All right, we're back. Another episode, East Meets West Hunt podcast from the Archery Trade Association show here in Louisville, Kentucky. Ryan Silver's back again.
Hey, y'all. How you doing?
What's up, Ryan?
Not much, man. We're just here at the ATA show trying to tell everybody about the new stuff we got going on and new people we got working for us, and it's been good. We kind of changed our booth setup. It's a nice outfitter
we're in a wall
camp.
Tent.
Yeah, we're in a wall tent, man. This is what it's supposed to be like, right?
Besides the roar of the background noise and chatter that we hear, it's basically like being in the Montana backcountry, isn't it?
That's it. We got the Montana canvas tent up here, and it's beauty.
Yeah. No, this is a really cool booth setup. A little campfire outside, and
We got little mock campfires set up, and little camping chairs, and coolers laying around, and
cool.
Yeah.
So you are ready for the show to be over by now, or what?
Yeah, I'm ready for it to be over about Tuesday. I got here on Monday, so No, it's good for us. It's good for everybody, but it's grueling. It's a long battle. You spend weeks building everything and getting everything together, and then you come here, and then you spend an entire week being here, setting everything up, talking to everybody, doing that thing, and then you break it all down and go home, and it's like just all done. And it's kind of It's tough, but it's good. I just, we show that this is obviously not a consumer show. It's a dealer kind of show.
Yeah.
So I like the consumer shows a lot better. You get to meet the real people, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But this is good too. I get to meet some of our dealers that I normally don't, and that's fun. Some of the weird guys, cool guys.
You get to talk to people like me.
Yeah, I get to talk to people like
Actually,
you.
I see you at both consumer shows and this.
Right,
You're not really getting away from that. But anyways, yeah, if you couldn't tell, we're at the G5 and Prime Quest, everything here booth. And it's like I said, it's a pretty nice sized booth this year too. I don't know if it's any bigger, like as far as square footage.
Well, last year we had two spots. We had a Prime like 20 by 20, and then we had a Quest and G5 20 by 40 or something like that. This year we just have a 20 by 50. That everything's all in one.
Yeah,
so it makes it easier. We got the shooting lanes up. Got bows, people shooting bows. We got the 20-second challenge out there. See if anybody wants to test their steadiness and really see what a prime bow can do as far as being steady and aiming.
I'll tell you right now isn't a time for me to do the 20-second challenge.
Yeah.
I'm a little shaky, a little low on sleep.
Yeah. The best time is like when you're hungover in the morning because you don't really care. You're all calm. It's just that 20 seconds feels like eternity, though.
Yeah. But I did just shoot the CT3 for the first time.
What'd you think?
Well, so this is my thoughts on it. Logic was my favorite bow, as we talked about in the past, and that was even before I got to use it for a hunting season and carry it around, which I spent probably, 60 to 70 days with it in my hand to the point where I was in Colorado, I was wearing calluses on my hand from just carrying it around for so long. Yeah. But anyways, loved that bow, loved everything about it. The CT3 for me had a smoother draw cycle
than the Logic.
I thought than the Logic.
Wow.
For me, I don't know what it was, but something with more or less when maybe I'm not speaking on the right terms with it, but like when it broke on the valley, it just seemed a little bit smoother to set in for me personally at my draw length.
Yep.
And
that's really what it is that draw length. I mean, every draw length, you're going to have a slight difference to that cycle when you pull it back. But a longer axle bow will generally give you a little bit more of a nice, smoother dump on the back end there.
Yeah. I mean, I shouldn't say the draw cycle itself. It's just at the end dump there. Yep. Just that end dump.
Yep. The longer axle is a little bit more friendly on that backside.
Yeah, it reminded me a little bit more of like the Synergy and stuff. That was the same 33-inch, axle to axle there. And again, nothing was wrong with my Logic from it. That's just comparing,
So are you saying you like the CT3 better than your Logic?
I don't know yet.
You're going to have to get one and find out, huh?
I'm thinking about it, It's tough for me. Again, I have that Logic shooting great, and just actually shot a doe with it on Saturday, so a couple days ago.
Nice.
And love it. And but anyways, that bow was a really, really smooth shooting bow. I put like 5 arrows through it there, and I haven't got a chance to shoot any of the other ones, but I know for me personally, in my height, draw length, and everything, and my style of hunting, that's about the maximum I want to go
33 inch.
On an ATA. I like the between 30 and 33. It's kind of.
That's why we still got that Logic in the Logic series. This is our Logic series that we're launching right here. So we launched it back in October, and we took the Logic platform and we just made it in a little bit smoother, like you said. We made it a little bit quicker, and we made it in a variety of axle to axle. So we have the CT3. The Logic CT3 is just a 33-inch, Logic CT5 is just a 35-inch, and the Logic CT9, which is a 39-inch bow. Now, the 39-inch bow is kind of geared for the target world, but we basically took a hunting bow and made it a target bow. Yeah. And it was well received. We had guys winning tournaments with it immediately when we got it out there. But it is a super long bow. But it's not a target bow. It's a hunting bow, and that's why we offer it in camo. So
that's cool. And for a lot of like the out western type stuff, the axle to axle isn't as important as a tree stand hunter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A 39-inch just gets a little long for.
Corey Jacobson shoots 39-inch. He loves it. So, a lot of those out west guys, a little bit more open country there. When you're really talking about axle to axle at 33 inches to 35 inches to 31 inches, which is what the Logic was, you're talking 2 or 3 or 4 inches, I mean, it's not that big of a difference if you're talking about trying to get through some brush or, be easier to carry around. But, I mean, you want to get a 28-inch bow or something like that, then now you can get into really something real more compact. But there's a lot of disadvantages to that.
Yeah.
We're really good at the longer axle bows, and it's kind of our niche and our thing.
Yeah.
So making them smooth, making them accurate, making the whole system work together to give you the shot that you deserve. When you pay that much money for a product, you better perform. So
yeah, for sure. And like I said, I mean, I was shooting the Logic only a 31-inch ATA bow out at distances 85, 90 yards at Total Archery Challenge. Great. But I've always felt that like a little bit longer one, like a 33, 34, maybe even 35. I've never shot that, but I feel like you can shoot them longer shots a little bit steadier. I don't know what the reason is behind it. I'm not the guy for that. Maybe
I guess you'd have to shoot them and find out, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really know either. I have a Logic myself, 31-inch. I like it. Shoots great. I shot the 33, totally awesome. I shot the 35, even better.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if it was my choice, I'd pick the 35 just because I stacked the arrows in a little tighter, So
yeah.
Can't tell you why, just like you can't tell me why, but that's the way it. Plus, the 35 also is reaching speeds that Prime's never seen before. Okay. So you can shoot really heavy arrows at real fast speeds.
What are some specifics on the speeds as far as?
Well, we're IBOing at 340 on the CT5.
Okay.
So I think we're at 335 on the CT3, and we're at 328, I believe, or 325 on the CT9.
Okay.
So the longer axle bow doesn't have that much speed, that 39-inch.
35 is kind of the sweet spot as far as speed goes.
And really, it just that's how it came out. I mean, when we design a product, we design it for accuracy. We're trying to solve a problem, and we're not going to build a bow that is uncomfortable or inaccurate just to gain speed.
Yeah.
It just so happened that 35-inch axle gained us a lot of speed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a smoker. It shoots fast. So.
Yeah, and the big thing to add with that too is you're not losing as much speed on the shorter draw lengths and everything as we talked about in the first podcast with
a little more efficient on those.
Yep, on the cams because they're cam specific. Is that the right term?
That's
for
right.
That?
Cam specific
draw length. So yeah, and that I mean I noticed that. I mean I'm a shorter arm guy, 27.5-inch draw length. It's not very long, but I'm holding up good speeds, I think, out of my Logic. So let's put it in a real hunting scenario. I'm shooting a 488 grain arrow, so I'm shooting a pretty heavy arrow, and I'm still getting numbers just over 270.
Okay,
which
is
good.
That's real good.
And I don't want to be any faster now with a fixed head because I have problems with them flying and everything.
Grab some air and all that stuff.
Yeah. So for me, that's a sweet spot. If I can be around that 270 mark, that's a really good.
That's
spot.
A lot of punch coming in too with that heavy of an arrow.
Yeah. Yep. It's a really good setup, and it proved it. I
obviously worked last week, right?
Yeah, and it punched right through the opposite leg of the deer and went right out through the bone. I mean, just
really.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah. It was a pretty
nice.
Insane penetration and everything else from that. So I love that type of setup.
That's great.
But anyways, so you got the CT3, the CT5, and the CT9.
That's right.
And then the Logic that rounds out the whole Logic side of things from the Prime.
Yep. We're still carrying
line.
The Synergy lines too, because there's some people that still really love that solid limb aspect of it. So we'll still have the Synergy lines out there. We still have the X1 Synergy target bow out there.
Yeah.
But the split limb with the Logic series is really something else for us, man. It's pretty groundbreaking for us to move into that platform and just create a whole system, and now in multiple axle to axles.
Yeah. I think like with the split limb, again, this is from me using it now for a full hunting season from out west from Colorado to Alberta to Pennsylvania and everywhere in between. I like that split limb design. It just felt steady. It just felt balanced, good left to right. I mean, I have a heavy, sight on there and everything else, and it just keeps everything balanced extremely well.
Balance is key, man. I mean, it's a nice wide platform that gives you a nice, good, solid base. So, it's like standing on two legs versus standing on one leg. If you can have that balance, you're really just going to hold steady and shoot better.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. And like I said, I've talked about it on this podcast before, so I won't go into a lot of detail with my experience with the Logic this last year, but I didn't get a whole lot of shooting with it, but that was down on me, not on the bow. So it was just a really fun bow to shoot. Shot at my first fall turkey with a bow, and that was fun to even just doing stuff like that. So
good to hear.
It's very accurate platform with everything there. So, all right. So what else is anything else from the Prime side of things?
Prime, no. I mean, we do have a new quiver mount for it. If you've noticed that there's it's a side mount instead of the Sherpa mount that you have for your Logic, where it connects on the back side of the riser. Now it connects on the side of the riser.
Okay.
So that's one thing we also have it for it, but that's about it on the Prime side. We might have some new gear coming out soon as far as like apparel, stuff like that.
Okay.
But that's what we got. We also got new broadheads this year for G5. So
nice. Tell me about that.
We have the new Striker V2. And the Striker V2 it's built off the same platform as the Striker, but this time we have 1.25" cut, so it's a little bit larger cut, but the same super sharp blades, and it's machined in-house. That's one thing that really excites me, is that we are able to control that machining process and those tolerance levels. So in doing so, we keep our blade tracks as tight as they need to be so that they're perfectly even. So we reduced a ton of run out in that broadhead. So the Striker performed awesome. But now it's just going to perform that much more awesome because there's less run out, less wobble in there, because everything is perfectly tight to where it needs to be in there. And that, not only that, we got Chuck Adams shooting that broadhead now too, and he is absolutely loving it. So.
Yeah, I'm looking at the ad there, and Chuck Adams' face on there. That's pretty
right.
Impressive. Yeah, to have a legend like that.
He's been shooting Strikers for us for about a year now, but we decided to see if he wanted to try the Striker V2. And he said, sure, let me take a look at it. And he absolutely loved it, and he's all on board for it. So we're able to tell the world now that we have Chuck Adams shooting our broadhead.
That's pretty cool.
And we just had him out here earlier and with the Bone Collectors doing an interview, and that was pretty exciting because, Michael's has always looked up to Chuck, and Chuck really likes Michael. So it was kind of like two generations there getting together, just talking about the heritage and the old stuff. So
yeah, and I mean,
the way hunting's
cool,
supposed to be.
The fact that you have a guy like that shooting him, he's probably a guy that's been around for a while, and a no bullshit kind of guy. He's not going to shoot something that he doesn't like.
Yeah, no, and he's not going to do something he doesn't like.
Yeah, he don't have to.
No, he doesn't. If he's not about your product, he's not going to work with you.
Yeah.
And he's just that kind of guy. He doesn't film any hunt. He doesn't hunt with any cameramen or anything like that because he told me because he likes hunting.
Yeah.
And he's like he kills some monsters, and that's his thing. That's his bag. It's what he likes to do, and
yeah.
And he's got his way of doing it, and he's not going to let anything interfere with that, including his broadhead. So it better be good.
Yeah. It's funny, at my hunting camp, at my grandpa's hunting camp, we have a picture on the wall, an old picture of Chuck Adams with a grizzly bear, a big bear, and it's signed by him. It was
that's cool.
To my grandpa on there and stuff. And that's always just a picture I remember as a kid because my grandpa's had it forever, hanging on the wall, and that's always a thing you look at, and the legend, in the bow hunting space. So. Definitely
a legend. We are happy to have him on board.
That's cool. So, and then also the super sharp, the Lutz blades.
Lutz blades, man. It's a Swiss steel, and they're just the sharpest blades on the market. I tell everybody you can't look at those broadheads too long, make your eyeballs bleed.
Yeah.
They are super sharp.
Cool. So what else from G5?
That's about all we got going for G5 this year. Quest, we also have two new bows on the Quest line. We have the Syntech and the Syntech NXT that we are launching here.
Okay.
And the Syntech, they're both center grip risers. They're good, better built price point bows. I mean, $500 for the Syntech and $350 for the Syntech Junior. But the key is the Syntech NXT, the smaller one for the kids, it is only 2.8 pounds. So one of the hardest things that kids have nowadays is, without buying a plastic or some piece of crap, little kid's bow, you get a real bow that's made out of actual aluminum, and it's light enough to where you can actually hold it up, because a lot of kids just struggle trying to hold the bow up. Plus, you got center grip technology keeping them balanced in there. All of them are adjustable with no bow press, and we have this cool training grip for these kids. The training grip actually, you put it on, it snaps right onto the to the handle, and it gives you the proper form on there. So that's a picture of it. Yeah, it gives you the proper form every time. So kids, when they grab a bow, they grab it like you would grab a hammer or something like that, and that could ultimately add to a lot of torque, a lot of twisting. I mean, that's probably the number one culprit in inaccurate shooting is the inconsistency of your grip. This sweet little snap-on training grip, the easy grip, it puts your hand in the perfect spot that you need to be every time. In fact, I'm going to get one and tape it to my prime because that's my worst problem right there.
I could say, I could probably use that myself.
Oh, absolutely, man.
Especially, that's a really cool
It's really
feature.
good. Really cool.
I know from just being the side of things, again, working in an archery shop where I was teaching younger kids, seeing those problems with trying to get the grip right, and you want to teach them right from a young age.
That's right.
And
don't let them grow up with bad habits, man.
So I remember some young kids coming in wanting to shoot, and again, their parents were like, I want to get them into a real bow, but they'd have problems with it. So I'm like, helping them, holding up like on the bottom of the limb, trying to help them aim a little bit.
It's so heavy.
Yeah. And that's the problem. Yeah, they can draw it back, they can do that, but it's so dang heavy to hold up with their little, it's underdeveloped
so
shoulders.
I mean, my son is the same way. We had a Radical, which is a great bow. It's awesome, but it was too heavy for my youngest son. I mean, he couldn't hold the bow up. He shot about 3-4 times. He liked the shooting it, especially when he hit the target. It was like awesome, but it was like, Dad, I can't hold this bow up. My arm hurts. And it's like, well, you better hit the gym, boy, because this is the littlest one we got. Not anymore. Now we got the littler one that he can totally hold up. In fact, I'm going to get one of those and take him to duck blind. I can't wait to try and shoot a duck with it.
Oh, that's cool.
It's a little tiny bow, man, and it shoots. It's awesome. It goes up 45 pounds, and I'm going to try and smoke me a duck out of the air with that thing. Yeah. Probably not going to happen, but I'm going to try.
So what about the other ones? So like the other Centec, and where does that fall? Like, is the Thrive still in the line?
Yep, Thrive's still in the line for Quest. Now that's a great bow right there. It's a good quality price point bow. Thrive is basically a prime rise without the cams. It's got the old cams that we put on our the flux cams that were on the Drive way back 3 years ago, slight modification to them. So they're super smooth, real good speed. And then the riser itself is the same design as the Rise, the Prime Rise that we had. It's got the same flexus as the Prime Rise, the entire Prime line on it, and it's the same material in the riser. So, I mean, you're getting a $1,000 bow for $650 price point.
Yeah.
I mean, Quest is just a better built bow for these price points. I mean, there's a lot of great trickle-down technology that comes from Prime. It's affordable, and it's a high-quality item. Yeah. And it's hard to find that at those price point bows. And with Quest, that's just what our goal is deliver you the quality you deserve at a price point that you can afford.
Yeah, so it's funny because I had a good buddy of mine who's in the military, and he was getting back from overseas, and he's like, hey, what's a good bow, going through that. I'm like, what's your price point? He's like, I don't want to break the bank on it. And I was like, you need to look at the Quest Thrive. And that's when I shot that last year at ATA, I was like, I would totally hunt with this bow all year.
Absolutely.
No problem. Loved that bow. Yep. And that's and he ended up going with it. He's like, this is an awesome bow. Like, just.
It really is. I mean, the only difference from that and the Prime Rise is the cams. It doesn't have parallel cams in it. So, I mean, it is a total $1,000 product for a $650 price point. It's awesome.
Yeah. Does it have the Flexus on it as well?
It does.
Yeah.
Absolutely
That's what I thought.
With the damper on it. Yep. It's got the same material riser. We did reduce the machine time on the riser. So if you look at a Prime Rise and you look at a Quest, there's like chamfer differences, like the smoothness and roundness. But, that's a matter of us being able to do that, to give you the product that you deserve,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not as nice and clean and smooth looking as a Prime bow, but it's the same riser. Mm-hmm. It's just cut on a higher speed, so it's cut quicker. We cut the machine time down like 20 minutes or so in order to make it affordable, So that was it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What else? Anything else from Quest?
Not for Quest. That's pretty much all we got.
I like how I say that. Anything else? Like, there's not a bunch as it is, but
2 bows, a training grip, and keeping the Thrive. That's about it, man. I mean, we're really trying to push Quest this year too, because we really want to get down to the roots of hunting, like your heritage, growing up, how you learned how to hunt, what hunting meant to you, and we need to really get back to that. So, an affordable bow really is going to help that. But, the bows and the products and all that aside, the real issue that we have here is that there's too many divisions. There's too many lines. There's too many, which side are you on? There's too many, I can't believe you shot that little buck. There's too many, you're wearing the wrong boots. There's too much, there's just too much macho-ness and things that are happening that is turning off hunters. I mean, let's face it here. We're not walking out trying to sell bows to every hunter out there. We're trying to make more hunters. And if we don't make it look attractive for everybody out there, we won't be making any more hunters. And if we don't make more hunters, we're not doing this anymore. Yeah. This is very, very important issue. And we need to stop beating each other up. And we need to start being one as a group. We need to start coming together as hunters, or there won't be any hunting to be coming together too. Yeah. So that's the one thing that I do see. I see a lot at even this event, at some of the other events we go to. There's quite the competition with other guys, just shit-talking each other, doing things that is not attractive for anybody outside looking in. If you're trying to get more people involved in this sport, we got a real funny way of showing it.
Yeah, no,
we're all on the same team, brother, and we need to start acting like it.
No, I completely agree with that point, 100%. And you and I were talking a little bit beforehand, just one small issue on it. It was the whole okay, you hunt public land or you hunt private land, acting like there's a division between these two types of hunters. No, we're all hunting.
Yeah.
Where we hunt is up to us, you know, and whatever that may be.
And why you do it. It's your choice, man. I mean, the key is you have to do it. Nobody's going to do it for you. If you want to go hunting, you have to get up and do it. But why would I want to bother to get involved in a community that just kind of scares me, kind of intimidates me, kind of makes me a little bit, well, maybe I'll just go do something else because those guys are a little too crazy for me. Those guys, and you post something online and people just attack you and tell you made a bad decision or you did something wrong. Or, well, what the hell do they know, man? I mean, they don't know your situation. You could have been hunting in an area that you've only seen one deer in 6 years, and you shot it. Oh, because it was a 4-point, that was the wrong thing to do. What's that to you?
Yeah.
I mean, we have to be careful. We have to be careful, and we have to help each other and realize we are on the same team. Stop fighting each other and start coming together. If you're a hunter, you should give the other hunter a nod, a wave, pat on the back, shake his hand, do whatever. But stop fighting each other. Yeah,
and it's not okay, so you don't have to be say if your goal is you want to kill a 4.5-year-old deer every year. That's great.
Yeah.
That's your goal.
That's your
goal.
You
want to do that? Do it, man. But don't ever bash anybody else that does that shoots a smaller deer or whatever. Or even say maybe you do have that goal and a 4 or 5 point comes in. It makes you happy, puts on a show, puts a smile on your face. You shoot it. Don't apologize. I can't stand when I see on social media and this is a little rant of my own here, but when you go on and be like, man, I shot this buck. I saw some bigger ones during the year. I would have shot a bigger one, but this is all I had the opportunity at. Shut up. Don't say that.
You don't need to apologize for doing what you did.
You were excited to shoot that for a reason. Be, one, thankful for it, and two, be excited about it.
But that's what we have created. We've created a community that you have to apologize for taking an animal. You have to defend yourself for doing what you love.
Yeah.
It's our own fault. I had Matt, my boss showed me a picture of a deer, and the guy had it. It was like a little 4-point, and I do it myself, I got to catch myself when I do it. And I look at it, and I was kind of like, wow, it was kind of small, huh? Yeah. And then I look at the guy's face, and he had a grin from ear to ear. He was smiling like you wouldn't believe. And all of a sudden, that took precedence over the small animal. And I realized, wow, you just did what you're telling people not to do. I did it to myself, And we all have to make that internal change, man. We can't be judgmental on our own members of our community. We have to support them. As long as you do it legal and it makes you happy, that's all that really matters. If I want to hunt high fence animals, why the hell shouldn't I be allowed to? Mm-hmm. It's my God-given right. I live in a free world, free country. That's what I want to do. Why should I have to apologize for it? If I want to hunt public land, I'm allowed to. That's what I should do. And I shouldn't get shit from it.
Yeah.
That's what drives me nuts.
No, again, like I'm in complete agreement with you, and even with ourselves. So like, it can be easy, and I know I'm guilty of this myself, being like, oh, I have a podcast now. I'm supposed to be shooting, big mountain bucks every year because that's what, I've built up. I love chasing these big deer. No, that's not what it is. You're going to, if I let myself get in my own head by thinking that all the time, you make it not enjoyable for yourself. And, I've had to do that. Like, I'll admit to it. I had to come to grips with myself and be like, Bo, enjoy it. Like, this is why you've been doing this your whole life. Don't change just to impress somebody else or try to, be somebody that you're not or whatever it may be. This is the reason why we do it. And there's a million reasons why we hunt, but to enjoy it and enjoy that experience, whether that be with friends, family, sometimes solo, that's a different way of enjoying it, and just enjoy it and support everyone else that's doing it. That maybe you don't agree exactly with the way they're doing it, but keep your mouth shut and don't.
If you don't like the way that somebody did it, you don't have to get. And that's the thing, they hide behind the anonymity of Facebook and social media and things like that. It's real tough guys sitting behind a keyboard telling somebody they made a bad decision. That's not your place, and you're doing it. You're just creating a platform to where people don't want to get involved from the outside looking in and are ready to hang it up. I've already talked to several guys that are like, I don't even want to do this anymore because all I do is get shit every single time I make a post or I make a whatever. That scares the crap out of me, man.
Yeah. I see it too. Like, I feel like some of the people that are higher profile and stuff, and they put something up, people are just freaking tearing them up. Just going in there. And even like, say, women specifically, they'll post something up and they're shooting their bow, and they'll be like, oh, look at your form. You're not doing this, or you're not doing like. Shut the hell up.
They get no credit at all. The women could never win anytime they ever do something, and they need to not care. They need to do it for themselves. They need to let you go hunting for your experience, whatever that may be, not for Johnny Jerkoff's experience who's going to say something stupid on Facebook. You don't give a shit about him. You do it for yourself.
Exactly. No, exactly. And whenever you're, before. I guess a really good takeaway from that is before you open your mouth or you get your thumbs working on your phone or your computer or whatever, just think about it before you say it. How is this going to negatively affect someone or their outlook on it, or maybe not even them specifically, someone else that's watching from an outside, perspective.
That's right. That's the key. That's thinking about it. Like, if you're going to do something, you're going to make a remark, or you got to think about what it's going to look like from the outside looking in.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm a perfect person with it. I open my mouth sometimes when I shouldn't, and I don't ever bash anybody. Like, I don't publicly bash anyone, but from the fact that I might think in my head or something, I'm like, come on, like,
what are you doing? I do it myself. I've done it plenty of times. Like I said, I looked at the picture and the first thing I thought was, wow, that deer's pretty small. But it didn't matter because I looked at his face and that guy was so happy, and I'm like, that's what it's about. Why are you questioning the size of that deer? Look at that guy. He's happy as hell. He just got that. So I had to check myself, and that's when I realized that we have a real problem here. And I started looking around, and people are doing it left and right to each other. From brands. And brands, a lot of brands are not helping. They're not helping the situation. They're making it even worse. I mean, if you kind of look around you, there's a lot of companies buying up a lot of companies. A lot of things like that is happening. It's kind of watering down a lot of where these products and these brands came from. It's becoming something that it doesn't look good from the outside in, From the outside looking in, it's not an attractive thing to want to get into. We need to cultivate more hunters. Let's make it look good, let's make it feel good, and let's make it really welcoming.
Yeah, I think some of the brands need to hire some PR people or something.
I think so. I think they either need to, I think they need to just have more passion for what products they make.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's not always just about money, The money will come if you do the right thing.
Yeah.
If you don't do the right thing, it might come for a minute, but it ain't going to be there for a while.
Yeah. There's no fake it till you make it when it comes to this. You know what I mean?
Not this world.
Yeah.
Not with these people. Nope.
Yep.
These are real people. This is your human nature to hunt. You're a predator. You have eyes in the front of your head. You have sharp teeth. You're a freaking predator. It's in your human nature. We have a chromosome in our body that says you have to go hunting and you have to kill something and you have to eat it. It is. It's genetically bred inside of us. And the more and more we shut it down, every generation after that is going to lose that chromosome. One of these days, we're going to wake up 200, 100, 50 years from now, and we're going to be a world full of a bunch of pussies because they don't know how to hunt.
Yeah.
And that's it. And the chromosome is completely washed away from the human race. Is that what we want?
No.
I know that's a little drastic, but I thought that was pretty good.
No, that's a very good description of how it could go, and as
it could. It absolutely could.
And it's funny because like I've opened myself up to being around people that aren't necessarily like me, and a lot more, and just trying to listen to their perspective, more or less because I realized I was closed-minded in the past, and I was only around certain people that were like me, so I never saw anything different. When you open it up, and I've been around a lot of non-hunters recently, and listening to some of their questions, right away I want to be defensive on things, and I'm like, no, let's try to understand, where they're coming from and where they're getting this perspective or whatever it may be, and they're not necessarily anti-hunters, but they're not really sure about it because of things that they've seen that we've done as an industry as a whole, as however you want to categorize it, but there's some work to be done, and I think it starts with each and every one of us being, open and thinking about that as well. So
it's going to take all of us.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's for sure. So what I was going to say, do you have any other like advice for anyone with that, or is it just don't be an asshole?
Well, that's pretty much it, man. Don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
It's that simple. Practice it, do it, shoot it. Shoot bows, shoot guns, go hunting, have fun, experiences. When you're out there and you're having a great experience, are you really thinking about what kind of boots you got on? Are you really thinking about, what kind of bow you're even shooting? I mean, no, you don't want to be thinking about that stuff. You want to be thinking about the experience that you're having. So really enjoy your experiences. Don't be an asshole, and just have fun, man.
Yeah, just be true to yourself. Let that chromosome let it
thrive.
Breathe.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Let it thrive like the Quest. No.
Yeah.
Product, but yeah.
Contradiction. No.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But it's funny. I don't remember if I talked about it on here before, but there's a book I had read recently called Wild at Heart, and it was just talking about basically how it's deep inside us that need to hunt. It was actually like a religious type book, but it was basically telling how even some modern religion practices are building pussies, I guess, from that standpoint. And it's like, listen, we are hunters, we are gatherers. You have that in you.
That's right.
Everyone has it in.
It's built into your genetic code.
Yes. We've been hunting from the beginning,
That's why we're here.
Maybe it's not necessarily a need from a food standpoint anymore, but in my own body,
that's a matter of opinion too. But yeah,
yes, you're right. You're very right. But I have a need in my own self to find those adventure things and put yourself out there and hunt. Like that's if I didn't hunt, I don't know what the hell I would do.
I don't
turn to drugs.
Yeah, I turn to drinking. That's what I do when I'm not hunting. No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't even get to hunt much at all with this job and things I do. I get to be around it all the time. I get to see everybody's experiences and how happy they are. I also get to see the shitty parts of it too. Mm-hmm. But when I do get to go hunting, I feel when I'm done and I have a good time and I have these experiences and I get to eat this food that I just gathered, I feel complete. I feel like this is what I was put on the earth to do. And it might be subtly, but it makes me feel complete. It makes me feel like, this is what life is. This is what you're supposed to do. It's what humans are. Yeah. And without it, I do feel like I'm a little lost. I don't get to do it a whole lot, but when I do, it makes me realize that I am a human being.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, Ryan, so recently I've been so busy with getting stuff with the podcast ready, figuring out what I'm doing with 2019. I'm getting in this business mode, and I'm doing my day job, and I'm doing this, and hadn't been spending much time in the woods and then holidays and everything else.
Sure.
Anyways, I got to go out, like I was telling you, last Saturday to go for a doe hunt. And I haven't shot a doe since 2013 when I was at my senior year in college, and more or less the population's kind of low where I hunt. But also I had enough meat. I just didn't. I didn't need to kill a doe. Mm-hmm. But this year I only killed one buck, and I wanted to get another deer in the freezer. And from my own side of things, I needed to get out and hunt again. And I got out, and big doe came in with some other does, and I got so excited. You would have thought that there was the 30-point buck was coming in. Like, my heart was going out of my chest as soon as I grabbed my bow.
That's what it's all about, baby.
And I got so excited. And that moment, and then I quartered up the deer and was packing it out, and just like smile from ear to ear. Like, my dad and uncle came in to help me, and it was just like
and that was a doe, right?
Yeah, it was a doe.
I mean, there ain't no horns on that thing.
No.
Can't eat the horns, right?
No, it was such an awesome, and we got back and we shared a couple beers and just, enjoyed that whole process of it. And that was a good kind of, again, reset for me. Even though I went through a whole hunting season and everything, just kind of going out there and having fun with it and not putting
fulfillment, man. Yeah, feels great.
It really does.
Yep.
Yeah. So is anything else on that you want to add, or
not really. I think I've said.
I'm sweating now.
It got me all worked up. No, I think I've said enough to probably get bashed on Facebook pretty hard, so that's all right.
Perfect. Let's see.
Keep going.
Let's see if people will take this and then
let's see if we get somebody come in here and just punch me in the face right now.
Yeah, I saw a couple people peeking in.
Weren't they?
They must have heard you talking, but thought you were talking about their company. But no. Anyways, that's cool, and again, that's one of the reasons why I love working with companies that believe in that kind of stuff, and whether it's actually working with them or just being friends and shooting the products.
Well, that's one rule we have, is that we don't work with anybody that we wouldn't feel comfortable in a hunt camp with them.
Yeah.
So, and that's one thing I love about this company I work for.
Yeah.
Is that we are very family-esque. Once you're part of us, you're part of the family.
Yeah.
And that's how we take it, man. If we can't hang out for 3 days at the Total Archery Challenge together, we ain't working for you.
Yeah. Do we do that?
I think we did that.
Yeah, we did do that. But yeah, no, it's a great group of people from beginning to end in this company. I'm not just saying that. Otherwise, I don't have anyone on the podcast unless I want to have them on. Right. Let's put it that way. Or
if you really don't want to have them on there, that could really work for you.
Yeah, and then I could just bash them.
Just get that guy that just really irks you. Get him on there and be super nice and ask him those questions and really get him.
Yeah.
Or maybe not.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm just going to avoid that part. Yeah. But all right, Ryan. Well, what do you think? You want to sign off on this?
Yeah, that sounds great. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on, and thanks for coming out. It's always great to see you.
Yeah, likewise. I mean, I wish I could say likewise, but either way, I'll be nice on the podcast. Just kidding. All right, guys. Well, hey, thanks for listening to another podcast. And Ryan, thank you for spending some time on one of your another busy days here.
No problem, man. Thank you.
Safe travels back to Michigan.
Yep. Trying to get around this snow, huh?
Yeah. The big snowstorm.
Yeah. Death Storm 2019.
All right. Signing off from Louisville. We'll see you, buddy.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of East Meets West Hunt with your host, Bo Martonic. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit eastmeetswesthunt.com, Facebook at East Meets West Outdoors, and Instagram at East Meets West Hunt. If you enjoyed today's episode, please review and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.